What are you saying, bro? You ready for another lesson?
Man, I can't wait, man. It's been a while, So.
That's a screw.
You can even tell already, you know?
Hey, right rudder, that's it.
Wheel 01, you can backtrack now.
Need to be over the field in between the two.
Alright.
What do you know about increasing the angle of bank?
Full speed.
Exactly.
You're fine, you're on the centre line, and then suddenly you're not, bro.
Next time you're in a grass, bro.
That landing. I'm worn out.
Are you aiming to be a commercial pilot?
Yes, at some
Right.
point.
Yes, so these calls, they have to be made in a commercial environment. Well done, mate. You're gonna make a good commercial pilot.
Thank you.
I'll walk up behind the aircraft.
You're very behind the aircraft. We've got a fuel leak. Are we? Yeah.
By the way, go to the whiskey, sorry. The whiskey is quite strong. Mate, you're gonna make a good commercial pilot.
You still have control.
No, you tell me when you want to take control. You tell me when you want to take control.
Ever? Do I have to?
Yes. As I say so. Bear in mind, you're going to have to work with what you've got, normally. What do you need?
That's what. I'll make use of what I've got.
Previously on Future Pilot 901.
Okay, how you feeling?
Feeling good?
Good. You're gonna go solo.
Okay. Student Will 08 is ready for departure. We are off.
Student Wheel 08, surface wind is 330 at 9 knots, we've got one to vacate.
Student Will 08.
Charlie Kilo is the right base, get out to land. Student Wheel 08, minute takes and well done.
This aircraft is so nice to fly with.
Yeah, very nice.
Victor Golf, Kid 20 starting controlled airspace now in the climb task chute 3,000 feet, heading 090 degrees.
Yes, 3,000 feet is very nice and smooth.
Yeah.
It's not like in the cloud.
Golf, proceed at location Sierra November. This comes the procedure report on localized established.
The whole point of getting your IMC is you fly clouds. That's sort of where we are roughly. See?
Okay.
So we came in for an approach on runway 23. We did a missed approach, and now we're being vectored around to do another approach into runway 23.
Yes. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's get the show on the road. Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is D, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Future Pilot 901 live on Kick and YouTube every Monday, 7 p.m. British summertime. I'm your future captain. My name is D, and this is episode number 42 of Future Pilot 901 Live. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's 42 weeks of consistency. I mean, 42 weeks of anything is definitely worth applauding. In fact, to be honest, I don't know how I made it this far, to be honest. So shout out to you guys for keeping me company along the way. Shout out to our replay viewers and also those who tune in and join the chat. You guys are incredible. Well, today I'm very excited to be welcoming back, for the first time ever, we got a repeat guest on the show for the first time ever. So this is a record. It's history in the making. I'm looking forward to having a conversation about Mach Knots. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is, you will find out soon enough. But before we bring our guest on board, there's a few housekeeping things. Shout out to the new subscribers on YouTube. It's looking healthy out there on the YouTube, so thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, you're welcome. Welcome. Hopefully you find the content interesting, captivating at times, and dare I even say it, hopefully it's somewhat inspiring. Just here's hoping. Here's hoping. Shout out to the Kick followers. Not forgetting about you guys. If you have not subscribed, if you've not followed, make sure you hit that follow button on Kick. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Become one of the subscribers. I appreciate your support very, very much. Yes, I do. Right, let's have a look. So, one of the things I like to do is stay up to date with some of the things that's happening. So I try to keep my ear to the ground and make sure I'm, staying in touch with what the regulator is doing. And I realize we haven't had much of an update. So maybe I'll give you guys a quick rundown before our guest joins us in just a jiffy. All right, so scanning through my emails here. So one of the news is this is an update sent to me last week, Wednesday. Cardiovascular risk assessment for pilots and air traffic controllers. In the coming weeks, the regulator will publish updated guidance for the evaluation of cardiovascular risk, which will apply to the medical assessment of pilots and air traffic controllers. This follows extensive work and discussions with cardiologists, aeromedical examiners, and other national aviation authorities to ensure that cardiovascular risk is managed consistently and proportionately across medical conditions and classes of medical certificate. The revisions take account of the developments in clinical practice, including wider use of the newer investigations such as CT coronary angiography, and are intended to optimize certification decisions based on individual risk assessment and the interest of flight safety. So something to keep an eye out on. you know, some people tend to have little thingamajigs with their hearts, and sometimes when you get particularly when you get your class 1 medical, you know, it might be looked into. So just good to know what changes are down the pike so that you can stay ahead of the game. So I thought that was interesting. Let's see, we've got a couple more here. New IMC rating examinations published to examiners. New IMC rating examinations published to examiners. The CAA has published updated examination papers for the IMC rating to authorized flight examiners. A supplementary amendment to standards document 11 has also been published. Let's have a quick look at that. Let's have a quick look at that. So this is a supplementary amendment. Okay, so the purpose of this essay is to amend the current paper-based. Okay, I had a bit of an idea that would be a paper-based. Are we still doing paper-based examinations? Is that what we're still doing? At least for IMC, what was I going to say? The PPR ones changed in October 2020. I know because I did the first 2 exams, my first 2 exams in September, and I did them paper-based. And then my next exams were post-October, so all of them were computer-based. So IMC is still paper-based. Interesting to know because I am planning to do my IMC rating next year, if things should go to plan. So let's have a quick look here. Any examinations taken and passed before 10th of May 2026 using the previous set of examination papers will be accepted. All right, for the issue of an IMC rating, 24-month validity period from the exam date. Any examination taken after 11th of May 2026 using the previous set will not be accepted. All right, so that's pretty useful to know. If you're kind of doing your IMC or nearly there, probably get it done, but I'm sure you'd know about this anyway before the 11th. If you fail before the 10th and then you retake with the old papers, you're not going to be accepted. So if you fail from the 11th, use the new papers, but your flight examiner should be aware of all of this anyway, but good to know that changes are happening, particularly if you're studying. You know, this might affect what you were able to see. Maybe the question banks that you come across might be like old stuff. So just good to be aware of these things. Very good to be aware. And finally, I'm not going to dig into it today, but I probably will dig into it next time. Let's have a look. Is that, close that, open that. An updated version of Standards Document 19A, which gives guidance to applicants, training organizations, and flight examiners on the Part FCL PPLA skills test has been published. Now, a very good thing to do that I was told by a very good flight instructor, and I believe he's a flight examiner as well. He's been on the channel before. His name is Keno. Shout out to Keno. Shout out to Keno. One of the really important tricks that he said was, look, if you're going to do a test, and this is something I find that PPL students don't particularly do, I know I didn't do it, is looking at standards document so that you know exactly what to expect for your test. It's literally there. It tells you what standard you need to be at. So that's been updated. Of course, some of you will know there was updates to the requirements for a PPL. Instead of 45 hours, it's now 40 hours. And there are a couple of other changes within that. That's probably something I'll cover another time. But just to mention, the standards documents are or is now out. It's now been updated, so make sure you have a look at that. Maybe I'll dig into it next time. All right, people. Well, You all didn't come here to just listen to me talk, did you? Did you? You didn't just come here to hear me talk. So why don't we get this show on the road and get our guests on board? Without further ado, let's have a quick watch and then we'll bring her in. Yes, 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 everybody. Let's give a great big warm welcome back to somebody that we can now call the founder of Mach Knots, Ronika.
Thank you. Hello again.
And the crowd goes wild. The crowd goes wild. Yes, yes. How's it going?
It's going good. Busy, very busy. How about you?
Yeah, all good, you know, just riding the waves of life, you know, trying to keep my head above the water as usual, you know. But yeah, going good, in good health, you know, living, so I can never complain. I can never, even though I'm tempted to, I'm very tempted to sometimes, but no complaints. Happy to be in health. Happy to be in health. What's keeping you busy these days?
Work and Mach Knots.
Yeah.
A lot about Mach Knots, like planning the next events, you know, taking people's suggestions, feedback. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine. Shout out to Hussein. It's Hussein. Shout out to you in the chat. Thank you for passing through. Yeah, like, you know, I have huge respect, and we're going to get into Mach Knots in just a little bit, but I have a huge respect for people who build something, because, you know, it's so easy to just be a critic, right? Sometimes we look at the world and we go, oh, well, what they're doing is not great, or, you know, this process isn't great, their recruitment is trash, or whatever. People are so quick to kind of be critics, but they don't realize how much work actually goes into building something. So when I see someone who's building something, I have huge respect, because I'm like, okay, you know what it's like. You know what it's like to have to bring things together. You know what it's like to deal with maybe sometimes having processes that are not perfect, but you're like, ugh, don't know what to do about it. And it's just trade-offs. So I have huge respect when it comes to building, you know, something from the ground up. And we'll talk about it a bit more in a little while. But what I want to get into, it's your second time around, but for those who don't know you, just give us a bit of a rundown of your experience in aviation so far and what you've been able to do.
So hey guys, I'm Ronika, founder of Mach Knots. I got into aviation accidentally through a Girls in Aviation webinar. Crazy, I know. I think I was like 15 in year 10, just looking for like trying to find as many certificates as possible, and I just came across this webinar. I think it was based in Puerto Rico, so they had a lot of Spanish going on, but I understood, like, of course, the English parts. And yeah, I started speaking to air traffic control, really got interested in the industry. From there, I got passed on to a lot of people, and yeah, and then eventually I spoke to a captain from British Airways who was the chairperson of Air Ability, which is very cool. One of my first mentors. And since then, I've just been trying to actively get involved with the industry. So I won a gliding scholarship with the Young Air like Honourable Company of Air Pilots at the age of 15, and then took my course at 16. And then I won a flying scholarship from the Air League. And recently, well, I say recently, a few months back now, I won a electric flying scholarship with Flight Crowd. So, as you can tell, since I've entered the industry, I've always tried to get involved with it as much as possible, with lots of volunteering as well. And now I just creating my own thing and absolutely love planes, love aviation, and yeah.
And have you done your flight crowd? Sorry, you said flight crowd, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Not
I
yet.
think I asked about it last week, and I think that's because it's partnered up with Saxon Air, so I think something's going on internally with them, so they still have to organise it. It's just an experience day, of course, just learning about sustainability, which I'm of course passionate about. So,
And what's different about that scholarship or that experience?
yeah, so compared to like the previous, for example, the powered flying from Air League, where you only have like the 5 hours flying, and but this time with the electric flying one, I think it's like you go as like a trial flight in a fully electric aircraft, which is super duper cool. And you have like some classroom based like theory, you learn a lot about sustainability and like future flights, which is so interesting to me. So it's like learning about the current, like the present world in aviation, and like learning about what's going to happen in the future as well, which is so cool.
Yeah, really interesting. Really interesting. If you can, please do lots of filming on that. I don't think I've seen any videos out there of like electric flying. Have you?
I've seen a few because of course I've been researching about it, but no, not that many. I think Saxon Air is the only one, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're the only airfield that actually like school that actually does offer electric flying in the UK. So it's not hugely popular, but
All right. And where are they based?
I think it's Nottingham.
Ah, okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I might do a little bit of research actually, look into electric flying. Because yeah, as you said, everything is kind of moving in that direction, isn't it? So useful
of course.
to see what that might look like.
Yeah, so many opportunities out there about it.
And how many flying hours are you up to at the moment?
5. I'm still saving up for my PPL. As you can imagine, I spent some money for Mach Knots, so
Yeah.
got to keep working on it. But I am trying to visit some flight schools in the summer, see how it goes.
Yeah, nice. Shout out to Pilot Kush. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. Do you know what? Speaking about saving, I have to applaud you. Like to be able to save to then go for your PPL. I tried saving. And it didn't work. This is like when I was much younger, when I was like probably about 18, probably about the age you're now. I remember I went to this open day with I think it was Kingston University, and I think it was like a bachelor's in pilot studies, and then you get a license alongside it as well. And I remember when I went to that, they were like, oh yeah, you have to pay for your flying yourself. And I was like, okay, damn. All right. I need to find a way to come up with all this money. I remember doing a fundraiser and everything. I did like the whole shebang, like a fundraiser with my family, little bits of money to the side. If I tell you, I don't even know where that money went. Like, it wasn't much. I don't think it was like over 100, 200 pounds. I don't think he even made it to 200 pounds. But I don't know what happened to that money. The good thing is I don't have any family chasing me for that money. But I kind of decided when I decided to start flying, I just went for it. Because I was like, yeah, if I start saving, I'm never going to do it. So, I definitely admire people who can be more disciplined in that and just go, no, I'm going to save and get to do it. But the time will come.
It's so hard to save, like, especially with me, like with makeup, or like on my days. Like if I see a really cute outfit, It's so hard not to buy it now. Like I'm really like budgeting this year. Well, starting from this month, really. I'm not the best saver, but I'm trying. I need to be
See,
more strict with myself.
yeah, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of discipline for sure. It's the ultimate kind of delayed gratification, isn't it? I think how you spend money says a lot about you as a person. And I think like as a way to kind of self-evaluate, I mean, I would be a bit scared to look at my own spending habits, but as a way to self-evaluate, I think it's a very rich self-evaluation. And I think that's what I realized when I started flight training. I was like, my money actually doesn't represent that I have this dream. I'm like, that needs to change. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not
I feel
easy at
like when
all.
I'm going to start flying and I'm going to see like hundreds and hundreds minused out of my account, I'd be like, scary.
Yeah. And some months are rough. And the problem is when you start hour building, because when you're paying for lessons, you literally pay each lesson as it comes. And then you start hour building, in some settings, you get the invoice at the end of the month. So you can do all this lovely flying, take videos, take photos, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. And then at the end of the month, you got a $2,000 invoice and you're like,
That's a lot.
can I come back to you guys? Can we pay in installments, please? Let's see. Shout out to Basil. Thank you for passing through, Basil the legend. So let's talk about Mach and Knots. Where does this idea come from? And how did what were the steps that kind of led to where you are now?
Well, as you know, I've been volunteering for like so long. I've learned so many valuable lessons and skills through that. With like events or like social media, working with like STEM. There's a lot of learning I'm so grateful for. But of course, as you learn more about the industry, more you get involved with, you figure out there's some gaps, of course. One huge gap I've noticed since entering the industry is why is there no one who looked like me? Or there needs to be sort of for example, when I first stepped into the industry, I felt a bit worried, a bit scared because no one at that time, thankfully there's more now, but at that time there was not enough people with the hijab, for example, or not a lot of people from the north, So and I thought, okay, well, we've got to step ourselves out there somehow. So I did. And I also noticed that lots of events or opportunities are very London or centric or South centric. A lot happening in the South. Less opportunities up north, especially when I was a BA student ambassador doing all my events. I went to this one school in Manchester, and it's so sad to see that the students felt like they didn't have the opportunities because I was asking them about all these crazy good opportunities that they had, and they thought they couldn't access it. And they were like, oh, wait, you could do this? Like, I had no clue. And it's sad. It's sad. How do kids not know about these amazing opportunities in the industry? And it made me reflect as well, like, what did I learn about the industry growing up in school? Nothing at all. Probably about cabin crew and, doing like tourism in college, that course, but nothing else at all. So that's another gap. And more of like the accessibility of reaching these like opportunities. And near to like, I think it was like January time that the last podcast we had, I had a few messages from Instagram, and one message in particular was like, hey, I've been looking at your like content for a while, and it was such a touching message saying she felt like she was really worried, she was really anxious and scared to get into this industry because she felt like because she's a woman and she wears a hijab, it's going to be difficult for her, and she was really anxious and worried about that. And I was like, wow, there's so many other girls out there that are feeling the same way, and that just basically told me you have to do something like her. So here I am trying to make aviation as accessible as possible. But basically that's our three aims, the Mach Knots. It's making sure opportunities are accessible and in reach, and also making sure there's representation of different communities, making sure we're inclusive and diverse. And
Yeah, I think that's really important. I want to dig into a little bit why is representation important to you? Because I think it's something that's very easy to kind of overlook and kind of push aside. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It really is all about the skill, right? What matters is how good are you as a pilot, and that's what matters. But representation, what is the significance of representation from your perspective?
okay, from my perspective, of course, linking back to what I've just said, I haven't seen anyone who kind of looked like me from the South Asian background wearing a hijab, and that made me feel anxious and made me feel like, can I do this? Can I stay in the industry? Can I do what I really want to do, which is become a pilot? And of course, I had the confidence to just step out there. And every single event I went to, pretty much, except from like one event or two events, pretty much every single event I've noticed, I was the only hijabi. I was the only one, which, first of all, is so scary to step in. I may not show it, but it's so scary just because you don't see anyone like you. And it's like, oh, what if they judge you? What if they treat you a certain way? That's one aspect. Speaking to people, to my friends or people from the launch event, they've had a similar issue, of course, from wherever they're from. Like, for example, Jamila, who was, Jamila, she told me, like, it's so important to see someone who is from like a similar background from you, just to boost that confidence, um, and feel supported. Um, that's representation for me first. Second of all, I noticed that in certain environments, maybe it's just me, I don't know, but a few others have felt the same as well. Some people feel like they need to block out their personality and who they are. So I'm not going to say the name for their privacy, but in my community that we have, a WhatsApp community, literally just yesterday, this amazing woman said, that she had for the longest time had to like sort of not be herself and had to like be like a fake self so people could feel like they could speak to her like so then that she can feel normal in certain groups, which I feel like this is so sad. Like, why would you just fake yourself? But of course some people do that because of different environments, etc. So it's really important to be with the right people, and making sure that to express your own views and express your own like values, I'd say, in oneself. But all in all, representation really matters, not only for your own confidence, but for other people. And yeah, it's just so nice to see other people like all together and having that good support,
Yeah, I think what you were referring to earlier was is known as code switching. Have you ever heard of that term?
Code switching.
Yeah.
No.
So it's basically, with hopefully I don't butcher it, but when you change the way you present yourself, whether it's how you sound, how you speak, the words that you say, in order to fit
Okay.
in a certain environment, which isn't necessarily your natural way of speaking or your natural way of presenting, but you do it because you know it's more acceptable in this environment. It's called code switching. Yeah. So, and like you said, that does have to happen quite a bit. And the thing is, I find it interesting because unless you've faced certain issues, those issues just don't make sense to you. Do you know what I mean? Like if you've walked into a space and you have felt the fear that, wait, do I belong here? Am I going to be judged here? If you've never had that before, you won't even consider it, right? It won't even cross your mind. It's like, wait, what? Once it's explained to you, you could probably empathize with it because we're human. We have, you know, different experiences, and we've all, you know, whether it's because of skin color, whether it's because of cultural background, whether it's because of socioeconomic status. You know, some people come from, you know, poor backgrounds and they step into these environments where everyone's like dressed a certain way, speaks a certain way, and they feel out of place. So I think we've all in different ways had an experience of being an outsider. So I think we can, to some degree, empathize with each other, but we don't exactly necessarily think of challenges that others have that we might never have faced, you know. So I think representation is important because it just helps to reinforce the message that you're welcome here, that this is a place where you do belong. And it's, you know, you're not an outsider here, you belong here too.
Exactly. And we don't want to exclude everyone as well, like, and exclude certain individuals. Like, literally just everybody's welcome wherever you're from. So that's really important as well.
So you had this, you know, I'd say quite a successful launch event. How do you feel it went?
Being me, I feel like I could have done better, of course. But overall, I'm quite happy with it. We got our message out, lots of great feedback from a lot of people, which especially like from certain companies and organizations. Yeah, overall, I'm so happy. I feel like we got our name out there, we got our values. It was really scary, of course, because it's like a huge project that I've done all by myself. So I think I'm okay with it.
So there was a video that was kind of compiled explaining it, and I thought it was quite a nice video. So it's a good time to get into that and just have a quick watch. Let me know if you can't hear the sound.
Okay.
Hello, I am in Budapest. Now, the other day I went to the launch event for a brand new aviation community in the UK, both for those who are already in the industry and for those who are trying to get into it, called Mach Knots. It was great to go to the inaugural event and make so many new connections. Mach Knots has been set up to try and make careers in aviation more accessible, so it was great to see so many people from across the industry there. Everyone from airline recruiters, engineers, there were student pilots, apprentices, and also a few people who are trying to get into the industry themselves as well. Networking events are also a really great opportunity to bump into people that you haven't seen for a long time as well. I highly recommend building your network of contacts, and Mach Knots is a really great way for you to start doing that. Follow them using the link below. Well done to everyone who got involved in setting it up, and hey, who knows, maybe I'll see you at the next one. Hello,
Yeah, quite a cool video. That.
So nice. He's so nice.
Yeah, he's a legend, absolute legend. So you had some, you know, quite some very cool people show up. You know, you had Tom was there, you had Lucy Sylvester there, you had Pre speak. which was really cool as well, hearing her speak again. It was funny because she was quite like nervous before, but she was like,
She's
she
amazing,
smashed it.
right?
Yeah, she smashed it.
No.
And I know there were details that she didn't even share about, just how much she's done to be able to get to where she is. Very inspirational. Yeah, and then you had the airport guy as well. So you had some heavy hitters at your event. How did you manage that?
Well, it's just making connections, it's just growing, making connections, and you're sort of all friends with them in a way. So it was like with Lucy, for example, I have her in my DM, so I just send her a quick DM like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing called Mach Knots. Do you want to be my guest speaker?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." Or like with Mo, it was really tricky to get Mo because of his schedule and everything. So I'm so grateful he made it. And with Pri, of course, we love Pri. Her story had to get out there, like the things she went through. She's just so inspirational. But yeah, majority, like we had people from the CAA, we had sales director from Airbus. That's so many. Just making connections, I'd say it's super duper important.
Yeah, my biggest regret, I think, is I never got around to. Funny enough, it was like a nice, good size, kind of like intimate space. But even then, I didn't get around to speaking to everybody. So that's like my biggest regret of the night is there were so many cool people, and I just need to, stop conversations quickly and like, oh, I'll come back to you. I need to greet somebody else, But yeah, no, it was really good, really good. And I assume you got quite good feedback, didn't you?
Yeah, that was really good feedback. There was, of course, some people saying, make it longer, make it bigger, the space. I'm like, God, I don't have money. So, of course, that's the only thing that I really want to improve on, really, just making sure I got as many people as possible, bigger venue, bigger than more people. But I think my only regret is not getting more people in, but I really couldn't do that because the event space was so tiny and had to get the cheapest in London. Like, that was the cheapest.
It was in a pretty good place as well, to be fair. The location was quite good. It's quite accessible.
Central London. Yeah, that's the only reason. I mean, I could have done it in like outside of London, which is more cheaper, but it's just I need people to have easy access to it. So yeah, it was like really nearby to the tube station and everything.
Who knows? Maybe next time we'll see you at PCL.
You know what? A few people have said that to me. Hey guys, whatever. I never really thought about it myself until people said it. I was like, oh, yeah, it could be one day.
Yeah,
That'll be my dream.
aspirations. Yeah, aspirations. It's good to have something to aim for. But yeah, that would be really cool. That would be really cool. Yeah. So, how can people get involved with Mach Knots?
Well, of course, Mach Knots is a free community to join. At the moment of time, we have a WhatsApp community that you can join as well. We have like the group discussions. The other day, we just did like a Q&A session with like a first officer and a training like pilot. So really good stuff in there. We also have a group with like dedicated to like culture and community, talking about people's backgrounds or things that they enjoy. And then we also have a like your story section. So we will be posting each week one story submission or like someone's role, for example, their journey or career journey. So that's a really good start to get involved in Mach Knots. Of course, we just only recently just started in April, so it will take time to build up on more and more like events. For example, we have plans with like a Discord server at one point. So it's a great way to start to go to the WhatsApp community first and then, attend our events and just follow us on social media as well. That's a great spot.
And what's your social media handle?
Mach Knots.
Mach Knots. I will put it Actually, if you're on YouTube, it's in the description, as well as the WhatsApp group link is in the description. So you can avail yourself of that. I'm also going to put the link to the Instagram in the chat. So for those of you on Kick, you can just clickety click and you will be on the Mach Knots Instagram page where you can find out more and connect. So that's really good, having those, interviews. So clearly you're good at networking, right? So what's your secret?
Not really a secret, to be fair. To be honest with you, I still get nervous with networking. As much as I've done it, it's still a bit worrying because it's like you're representing yourself, you're making sure like you have a good impression. But really, I would just get yourself out there. You'll get nervous, but then once you start speaking to one person, your nerves just totally disappear. So it's actually really, really fun as well. Like I'm such a people person and I love making friends. Yeah, just go for it, I guess. And if you're like really scared, maybe it's your first time, bring a friend, bring a +1. That always really helps.
Yeah, that's definitely a good tip. Bring a +1. Yeah. No, sometimes people just find it daunting to, network. And I was speaking to Jamila last week, and she was talking about networking and how, you're thinking, well, what do I say? What do I do? What do I? A room full of people, important people, maybe. What do I say? What do I do? Am I going to make a fool of myself?
Well, I even think that as well. But for me, it gets easier when I see someone I know in the room and I'm like, oh, yes, now I can be comfortable. Like, for example, PCL. The first time I went to PCL London, I don't know why, on the day I was so nervous. I was telling my friend Deanna, why am I so nervous? Like, But as soon as I went in and I saw a few people I knew, or like they came up to me as well, like, hey, and my nerves just disappeared. So I just naturally just strike a conversation with them, like say, well, what's your career journey like? And then you just follow up the question from that. So I guess it's just pretend like they're your friend, all I can say. Like the same level as you.
Human. They're human just like you are.
Yeah. Just a normal conversation and nothing else.
Yeah. And also people, people generally, I would say people like it when you're curious about them. So it's not necessarily what you've got to say and you got to say something smart and something clever. It's about you having a genuine interest in like, wait, what do you do? What's that like?
Exactly.
And then before you know it, they're beaming and like expressing this thing that they do that they really love. And you're like, oh, wow, that's really cool, actually. And then you have a connection potentially,
Exactly. Like once you have an interest in something, you will just see yourself. You just won't stop talking.
I tell you what, here's something else you could have an interest in. If you've never, kind of browsed the Future Pilot 901 YouTube channel, shout out to the new subscribers, then you've got, quite a few interesting things to have a look at. In particular, you have season 2 of Learning to Fly or Future Pilot 901. This is what you would be in for.
Nice takeoff.
That's a screw. I was waiting for that because everyone does it.
I'm gonna make sure that you can do it. And you can do it, I know.
Can you get to the height of a double-decker bus?
How about this height?
Smoothly throttle to idle. Smoothly raise the nose.
This is floating. It's float.
Yes, ma'am.
Good food after hard days of flying, bro.
Bro, it's needed, man. That landing, whew. I'm worn out.
So, since last time, we've had some changes. We've had some changes on the channel. Some changes to how we the experience that we give our guests. Some few changes. In particular, I'm inviting guests to partake in the phonetic alphabet challenge. Jamila was very brave. She was our first on last week, my first victim. That means she's now at the top of the leaderboard at 1 minute and 4 seconds. Basically, how quickly can you say the phonetic alphabet from beginning to end?
Making me nervous, oh my.
Well, not now. I just thought I'd mention it and let you kind of be a bit more nervous about it for a little while before you actually do it. So
Thanks for the warning.
So yeah, that's a cool little thing that I thought I'd throw in there. Just a little bit of fun. Why not? Why not? Why not? So I spoke to Jamila last week. She was our guest on the show last week, and we talked about her debrief. Do you know about the debrief? Join the debrief.
Yeah, she's doing amazing with it. Honestly, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. The good thing is, it's, you know, she's trying to keep it very private, very kind of a safe environment for people to engage in, and kind of be really honest, which is really nice, a nice touch. And hopefully it's going to go from being online to being in person as well. But I thought the question was interesting, so I thought maybe we'd explore the question ahead of that. Maybe I can collect some of my thoughts as well in preparation for that. But the question is, what do you wish you learned before you started? If anything, what do you wish you learned before you started flight training? So obviously you've got scholarships under your belt. You've done a bit of flying. What do you wish you'd learn before? And if you're watching, in the chat, if you've got a lesson or something you wish you knew before you had started, drop it in the chat. You never know who you could be helping. If you're watching this on replay, then just put it in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Kick, sorry about it.
Before flight training.
Before you started flying. Or this journey of like flight training.
Okay. It's a bit tricky because I'm still in the journey of it. Like I'm still starting in a way.
Yeah.
I'd say collectively as a whole, like just keep on going. As in like, don't listen to every feedback you have, because you get really confused. What I mean by is one person says one thing and the other person says another. And it's like, which one do you like choose, you know? And yes, they may have really good intentions by it, but it's difficult even at this age for me. Like it's difficult to figure out what exactly I want to do. Let's just say, for example, one person said to me, like, you're too young to do this, for example. And I followed that advice, which is not the best. But I really thought like that was the best advice for me. But I listened to it instead of someone else's advice, you know, because I got confused. So really, I just say follow your gut and make sure you do a little research. Don't just listen to anyone's advice just because, I don't know, they're a pilot or something. So just follow your gut. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think there's always ditches on both sides of the road, right? Because on one hand, you can not take in any advice. On the other hand, you can kind of take too much and pay attention too much as well. Because that's definitely interesting. You definitely don't want to do that. One thing I always tell people is pay attention to who's speaking. Because like we're saying about representation, somebody who's never, like, there's two sides to it. Somebody who's never stepped in a room and doesn't know what it's like to kind of feel that fear and think I'm going to be their advice when it comes to that specific thing might not be as powerful as somebody who's gone through that and can go, okay, next time you go into the space, do A, B, and C. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they've been through it and they've come through the other side, so they can kind of like maybe talk you through it a bit more. On the other side, somebody who's not been in the same issue as you, sometimes they can think more freely about it, and they can make you think outside of the box and just go, just do this instead. And you're like, wait, I never actually considered that. So it's such an individual journey, this journey of becoming a pilot. That's it's, you just have to figure it out, and you only figure it out by doing. But I really like that. I think what I would say for myself is a few lessons. One of them is you can start learning for free. Because I think I had this idea of like, I need money, but I overlooked all the resources that I had available for free. Like, you can literally watch flying lessons on YouTube and like know what's what to some degree, you know. So I would say definitely that you can start for free. You don't need money to get started. Flight instructors, not God. that's another one, I think, because I think especially earlier on, it's like, particularly for PPL students, we tend to, it's just so exciting to be doing this thing. We're just trying to make sure we're learning, and sometimes there can be an over reliance on the flight instructor rather than like doing your own research, doing your own studying. There's kind of this over reliance of the instructor. So I think that's I think I got out of that quite early on, but if I could rewind the clock, I would know that from the offset. But yeah, I'm going to do some reflection, I think, before this Sunday, when we're going to have the session.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that part. Muted.
Oh, wait, have I been muted this whole time?
No, just the end part.
Oh, I was about to say. Okay, cool. It's just, I don't know what happened. Maybe I just clicked by accident. But yeah, no, I'm definitely going to have some reflection on that over the coming days ahead of the debrief this Sunday. So it should be good fun. Should be good fun. So what is next? What's the next event? What's happening next with Mach Knots?
Well, just in the morning we had our first team meeting, so we discussed
How many in
our
the
next
team?
steps. Oh, I think it's like 10 people.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was our first team meeting, and we just basically discussed about the suggestions we had already, and basically our next steps, which I can't say too much on, but I'll just say we're going to be doing a lot more events, a quite informal, I'd say, and really, really fun. So in a couple of weeks, you should hear something, or maybe, yeah, in a couple of weeks.
And
So
where
really
would...
just trying to, sorry.
No, God.
Really just trying to expand our network. Like, what else do we have? You'll see a lot more on social media as well. So really just like growing the community, making sure like we have a lot of people in our WhatsApp community as well. Doing lots of activities in there for a start. So of course it's going to slowly grow. We are quite new. So we'll hear a lot more in a couple of weeks.
And where will people hear more? Like, what's your main channel for getting the information out?
First point of information would be our WhatsApp chats. The announcements page. It's just really accessible to, hear about the latest news. Of course, we on our TikTok and Instagram, and of course from my Instagram as well, because I'll be reposting a few things. So, yeah, any news, any updates, it will mainly be in those platforms.
Nice, nice, nice. That sounds really good. Sounds really good. Very exciting. Very exciting times. Very exciting times. And I guess now, if you're ready for it, I mean, if you need a quick moment to revise, then feel free to revise really quickly.
I think I just have to do it, face my fears.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ronika, are you ready to take on the Phonetic Alphabet Challenge?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, I will get the clock on the screen. Here we go. Here we go. Let me see. Bosh. Bosh. There we go. There we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Phonetic Alphabet Challenge. Here we go. So, when you're ready, actually, no, when I'm ready, I'll give the countdown. I'll give the countdown. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot Golf Hotel India Juliet Kilo Lima Mike November Oscar Papa Quebec Romeo Sierra Tango Uniform Victor Whiskey X-Ray Yankee Z.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
Oh, but I got 16. I mean, I did work at 111 and 999. Kind of use them a lot every day.
Incredible. We have a new leader. We have a new leader. Wait, so let me update the database. Let me
What did Jamila get?
Oh, Jamila was completely caught by surprise. So she was at about a minute 04. But we've definitely got plans for her to come back, because that was last second. So we got plans for her to come back and improve that score, because she's definitely can. So currently you're on what? What's the timing? 16.8. 16.8. Let's call it 16.8. I'm gonna do it to 1 decimal. All right. And you are now at the top. You are now at the top. Well done. Well done. I wonder what other people are going to get. I'm going to find a way to make this smoother. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me just a second and I'll be all right. Super, 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 super. Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming through, Ronika. Anything you would like to add, anything you want to say, anything you want to ask, anything you want to put out there, feel free. The space is yours. Wait 1 second. There we go.
Thank you. thank you so much for this, Steve, by the way, for inviting me. I really, really appreciate it, and it's so lovely to be back here. Honestly, you're such an amazing person, and I absolutely love your podcast. So inspiring. So thank you for that. Also, if anyone would like to get involved in Mach Knots, please feel free. Anyone's welcome. It's not just for pilots, engineers, or cabin crew. It's literally anyone from across the industry, whether you're, I don't know, plane spotting or just have an interest in aviation. This is a space for you. And yeah, just join our WhatsApp community. We have lots of stuff going on in there, lots of questions and quite Q&A sessions, and just amazing supportive people. So you're always welcome to join. But other than that, thank you so much, Dee. I absolutely love being here. And yeah, subscribe to Dee. Subscribe.
Absolute pleasure. I have put the link to the WhatsApp chat in the chat. So yeah, make sure you click that link and join the community. Definitely is valuable. One of the biggest things. For example, we're talking about things I wish I knew. It's that isolation is a dream killer. What you want to do is be around like-minded people who, have similar goals, who can expose you to information that, you otherwise, it might take you much longer to get to, but just being part of the community kind of can fast track you to certain bits of information that could help you on your journey. So definitely click onto the WhatsApp link and join. In the description on YouTube as well, you've got all the links for Ronika and Mach Knots. So make yourself click those links, because yeah, it's brilliant work. Thank you very much for joining. I'm gonna close out the show like I usually do. You're welcome to stay, you're welcome to go, you're welcome to do whatever you like, honestly. But yeah, I'm just gonna have a quick read of a book and share a little bit, and then I'm gonna be out of here. But yeah, appreciate you coming back. You made history today, by the way.
How?
You're the first return guest on the channel.
Oh.
There's never
I
been
feel
a
very
return
honest,
guest.
thank you.
Yeah, you're the first return guest. So yeah, it's brilliant to have you. Brilliant to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Dee. I would have to head out. So thank you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll send you off with a round of applause. Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Yes, ladies and gents, boys and girls, aviators, aviation enthusiasts, and everyone else out there. That was Ronika talking about Mach Knots. Talking about Mach Knots. If you're new to the channel, you've never plugged into some of the content on the YouTube channel. If you're on Kick, you might want to get yourself over to YouTube, even though I like to do the live streams on Kick. But in terms of having an archive, you want to be on YouTube. So get yourself over to YouTube so that you can watch stuff like this. I've always loved flying.
Hello. Under the radar. Come on. Well done.
And dancing, there's no denying. If only I could blend the two. I know what I'll do. I'll fly to new places, to dance with new faces. Making the most of the wings a private pilot license brings.
That was a little bit gusty.
Just made a no-fly decision.
Squawk on switch to 3 shore.
A different way to our build and advance.
2-0, join downwind.
I call it fly to dance.
Full flaps.
Ooh, nice one.
Flaps come up.
Well, flight, man.
Foxtrot Sierra, welcome to shore.
We have everything in this flight, man.
Everything, bro.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, as we close out, some of you know, last time we were reading a section out of this book, 81 Lessons from the Sky, 81 Stories from General Aviation Pilots Who Lived by Fletcher Mackenzie. All right. Because the idea is, you know, if somebody else made a mistake, might as well learn from that mistake, or if somebody else had an experience, might as well learn from that rather than having to go through it yourself. Don't reinvent the wheel. If the wheel already exists, just make use of it. And I think this story kind of emphasizes and re-emphasizes the importance of community, and just looking after each other and looking out for each other. It's very important. When we're flying out there, when we are doing what we're doing, trying to make our dreams happen, we got to take care of each other. We got to look out for each other. And I think this story emphasizes it. Now, recently, regulators have put out quite a bit of information about contamination, so I thought it's quite apt, although it's in a slightly different way. So I read from just a short story, Avgas Contamination. This is August 2016, issue 69 of Chirp. I am the owner of a Cessna 172, which is hangared in a certain location. I was recently up at the hangar checking on my plane when the local farmer came in. He informed me not to use my avgas as it had been contaminated. How? At some point in February, the Jet A1 Bowser on the airfield was having its service and filters changed by an external service company. With all the excess fuel which had accumulated during the filter change, the service person thought it would be convenient to dispose of the Jet A1 in the nearest drum he could find. This turned out to be my half-full drum of avgas, which I was planning on using this week. The drum is designated proprietary avgas drum, blue and clearly labeled and sitting not too far from a piston engine airplane. Thanks to the farmer informing me of this, otherwise it would have gone into my tanks. Chirp comment. Well done, that farmer. This was a serious incident with the potential to turn out very badly indeed. It demonstrates that clearly labeling a container does not guarantee that the label will be read. The answer seems to be locking fuel drums securely so that they cannot be accessed by irresponsible or incompetent third parties. Also, if aircraft have lockable fuel tanks, remember to use them, as fuel theft is not unknown. I'll be damned. I'll be damned if you stole fuel from my plane. I'll be, it's gonna be war. Although I think I'd much rather you steal fuel from my plane than you contaminate it with Jet A1 fuel. Anyways, shout out to everyone that joined the chats. Mustafa, shout out to you. Thank you very much for passing. Appreciate you. Thank you, everyone else, for passing. Basil, Pilot Kush. It's Hussein. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. You know where to find us every Monday, 7 p.m. British summertime on Kick and on the YouTube. I'm going to work on another guest for next week. I'm going to give it a go. And see how that goes. Let's see who I can trap into doing the show. Let's see. But anyways, until then, I hope you continue to take, even if it's baby steps, do something every day. Even if you can't afford it, do something that you can every day towards your dream. If you're serious, if it's that important, if it really means something to you, do something every day, whether it's watching a video about aviation every single day, whether it's writing down your plan, whether it's doing one bit of research every day, whether it's reading one chapter of a book about aviation every day, whether it's doing aptitude test practice every day. Find something, do something every single day, because this journey is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And every single step goes into developing you. And the great thing is, when you develop, you never lose that. It becomes a part of you, right? And whatever you do, you're going to take that improved version with you. So find something you'll do every day to advance towards your dream, and never, ever, ever, ever give up. Find that resolve. In fact, should I share with you guys some of my study time before I go? Maybe I should. Should I share? Not sure. Should I? Should I share some of my own study time with you guys? Some of you guys know, I've played it probably a long time ago. Jim Rohn, he's a legend in the personal development space. If you don't know Jim Rohn is an absolute legend. And he has a video out there called The Diseases of Attitude. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of collecting really good ideas in this notebook. Some really good ideas that I could just every now and then flick back through them and just kind of refresh my mind. Because here's the thing. When it comes to our bodies, what do? We know that after a long day, maybe we've been running, we've been sweating, we know that we're going to start to be unhygienic potentially. You know? We're going to start maybe to stink a little bit. Our body's going to be, not as clean. So we know we have to jump into the shower or a bath and clean ourselves. That's physically. Now, orally, we understand that you go to sleep, you wake up, your breath is going to be all over the place. And let me, get in there with a toothbrush and sort that out. All right. End of a long day, do you know what? I've eaten all this junk. Let me, make sure that I brush my teeth, clean it out, make sure it's all fresh. Okay. But do we do that for the mind? I would say we need to not just think of physical hygiene or oral hygiene or dental hygiene. We also need to think about mental hygiene, because you go through stresses in life, you go through challenging moments, emotions go up and down, different environments, different people take pieces of you. How do you center yourself back to, the ideas that are most important? Because, people set these goals in January, and then what happens by February? Long forgotten. And I would suggest the reason behind that is poor mental hygiene, because if that goal is that important, you revisiting that goal every day is like brushing your teeth every day, right? So this is part of my mental hygiene, re-looking at these diseases of attitudes and self-assessing myself on this. So diseases of attitude. Number one, indifference. And he says this is the mild approach to life. Being indifferent. That's a disease, an attitude disease. I don't mind if it's this or that way. kind of like meh kind of attitude. And the antidote to that is pour it on. Whatever you do, pour it on. None of this indifference. The second attitude or disease of attitude, he says, is indecision, aka mental paralysis. Got to get rid of that. And he talks about how life is not just about like, it's not about seeing how many decisions you can get out of. It's about seeing how many decisions you can get into, because a life full of adventure is a life full of decisions. And if you make a decision, well, if you're wrong, you'll find out quicker. So just make a decision. Okay. Disease of attitude. Number 3, doubt. Doubting it's going to happen. Doubting. And I think that's different from having a concern. That's different from considering, important stuff. It's doubting is different, right? You don't think it's going to happen. Well, choose to become a believer, right? That's what he's saying. Number 4 is talking about worrying about things. I'm worried about A, B, C. I'm worried, is this going to happen? I'm worried, am I going to get through that assessment stage? I'm worried what will happen if I don't. I'm worried. That's an attitude disease, according to Jim Rohn. And he says, do what he did. Just give it up. Give up worrying. All right. Give up the idea of worrying. Number 5 is over caution. This is the timid approach to life, he says, where, yes, you can be too reckless, but you can also be too cautious. And what he says is, realize that it's all risky. It's risky if you try and invest money, but not investing is also risky, right? It's risky to go up to that person and maybe ask them out. But guess what's risky? Doing nothing. That's also risky because you might end up alone, for example. So he says it's all risky. It's all risky. There's a risk if you do, there's a risk if you don't. If you apply, well, there's a risk you will fail. If you don't apply, there's a risk you will never be a winner, right? So it's all risky. So just give it a go. Give it a go. Number 6, pessimism. He says this is a person who looks through a window, but instead of them seeing the beautiful sunset, they see the speck on the window. And I think that's quite graphic, quite an interesting image. Instead of seeing the beautiful sunset, they see the speck on the window. And he says that our lives are mostly affected not by how things are, but by the way that we think things are. So I call myself a pessimistic optimist because I see the downsides to things, but despite that, I kind of foresee, I anticipate a positive outcome. But it's not a naive hope. It's all right, this could happen, that could happen, that could happen. And so I'll go about it this way. And hopefully I'll have a better outcome, So, and then the last one is complaining, whining, complaining. And that's one of the things, to wrap it up, that I like about what Ronika is doing and Mach Knots. You could sit out there and complain that there aren't opportunities, that this and that doesn't exist, or you can get to work, roll your sleeves up, and try to actually build something that that fills in the gap that you see. You're not complaining about it. Instead, you're being the solution, not the problem. So That's a nice way to bring it back. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. I hope you have a great week of moving towards your dream. Until next time, this has been Future Pilot 901, and my name is D, your future captain, and I am reminding you to live your dream. Take care. Peace.
Man, from living in my car to finally getting my trial flight done. To being in this moment.
Hey, come on.
Well done. Was it worth the sacrifice? Oh man.
Flat. Golf X-ray.
Pull back. May pull back more. Hold it there. Pull back.
Switching to Southern radar 130.
Bit more.
Listen. Was it worth the sacrifice?
So, power right on. Center line.
Listen, if you have a dream, it's down to you to make it happen, man. You might give it everything and it might still not work, but guess what? The journey makes you a better, stronger person. Can you imagine what kind of person you would become if you didn't pursue the one thing that you thought was the best thing in the world? You didn't pursue it. What kind of person does that make you after 20, 30 years of doing that? But when you chase what you believe is the most valuable, the most beautiful, the most awesome thing that you can do, and you give it everything, win or lose, you become a better person.
I've always loved flying.
Hello. Under the radar. Come on. Well done.
And dancing, there's no denying. If only I could blend the two. I know what I'll do. I'll fly to new places, to dance with new faces. Making the most of the wings a private pilot license brings.
That was a little bit gusty.
Just made a no-fly decision.
Sport constituency, 3-course shore.
A different way to our build and advance.
2-0, during downwind.
I call it fly to dance.
4 flaps.
Ooh, nice one.
Flaps come up.
Well, flight, man.
Foxtrot Sierra, welcome to shore.
We have everything in this flight, man.
Everything, bro.
Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is D, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901.